we're gonna do this with this company, we're gonna create this thing for our authority to go after something, what?
Well, one of the things.
What are we going after?
That has come up time and again, that this is a time-sensitive project. Simply because so many other people are looking at it and that much of the business is moving to the west. That if in fact we're going to get in, and this is one of the things we did, questions we asked at the marketing committee is if we're going to get into this, we need to do it now. And with the other thing, I felt, as you did, this is a good chunk of money to be investing. Do you feel, do you feel very positive about the direction we're going, was the question I asked Wade and John. If in fact that you're getting all these positive vibes back from this company, he can't make a guarantee that it's going to happen, but he has that sense that he can put us in contact with enough people that it could happen. So it's kind of a ghost, as many things in the marketing area probably also is. But what I understood from the beginning of Bruce's reports and whatever is if you're going to do this, you need to do it ASAP, because it's, if we don't get in now, there's probably not a chance of us getting in.
Well, when I look at, the situation of spending $40,000 on the dairy industry, I could just explain a lot of that. We don't know how many tons of, 100 pounds of milk is going out of New York State, and why is it going out of New York State? The yogurt industry is a wide open industry, as you all know. I'm very familiar with the yogurt industry. I have, what I'm saying, I have 3 plants right now going like this. And we've just put a lot of money into those plants. And then, we look at the Greek yogurt situation, and you look at the processing of it and all that. The hops, and for the beer and manufacturing industry, that vision to me, Mr. Chairman, is down the road about 3 years. But the other thing is I feel, I'm not saying I'm against this, I'm saying I don't think it's the right time for this right now. But the thing is you got the agriculture, New York State agriculture, in the state of New York. And this guy should be able, them folks down there should be able to tell us a little bit what's going on and who's looking and who's not looking. Let me give you just a quick example and then I'll get off it. You drive down the highways every day on Route 68, all of a sudden you see this tower went up. Over in the field, over in the woods, what's that? Well, it's a brand new tower. How did that get there? Just didn't grow there. Just didn't get there overnight. There was planning for it. People like the St. Lawrence County, people over there knew that this kind of a thing was gonna happen, And that's what I'm trying to say here is, do we have a target that we wanna go after? I would spend $100,000 if I knew we had a target. But this resolution is wide open to me, and I'll be very honest with you, it's not ready yet for us to use. Just not ready to spend $40,000 on this particular resolution at this time. Now, like I said, if you tell me tomorrow that we've got a customer that wants to build a yogurt plant in our 60 acres over there, but we gotta lobby this company to come here, then I think this thing comes alive. But right now, I think, John, you're doing an excellent job in marketing and watching out there, and Wade's doing a good job, and Fred's doing a good job. Somebody, to just spend an extra $40,000, guys, I'm done, Mr. Chairman.
I was involved in that committee that met in regards to putting this together, and the information that I thought I received, and I understand what you're saying, it's like, what is the target, and what is the date, and what is the timing? But that's all all things are, is what is the timing? And it seems to me that somewhere along the line that a Greek yogurt plant, somebody got ahead of us, all right? Because now so now you say to yourself, well, the advice that we got was, guess what? There's room for improvement, there's room for another one. Okay, maybe not here, maybe not at all, but if you don't go after it, you don't know what's there. The second piece of advice we got was from our very distinguished Commissioner of Agriculture, that you should be looking at also, what you said is the beer industry, okay, for hops and malts and the malting plant, whatever. So I would suggest, and I think what John is saying here, that this Phoenix Corporation of Services understands those concerns, what we're looking at, knows how to develop a strategic plan to see exactly where we can go with this or not go with it. I don't wanna spend $40,000 just to shoot at the moon, and I don't have a chance to get anything, but I'd also wanna be left behind, because I know, listen to you, Fred, a lot of times is, how come somebody else got it and we didn't get it? How come that was there and you didn't get it? Well, I think here in regards, and this is all your recommendation in the marketing committee is, guess what? If we don't look at this, somebody else is gonna say, we're gonna say the same thing again, how come we didn't do it? And it's like, I mean, it's fragile. I mean, it's, it's fragile. I mean, we're not really sure what's there and what's not there. This firm, the way I understand it, Wade, is they help with the Brazier, is it Brazier Falls or North Lawrence? North Lawrence, okay, they were the driving force to say, this is what's out there, this is where it can go, and these the people know the inside and outs about this. So your advice and what yours telling us, it makes a whole lot of sense.
So am I understanding it correctly, they basically find the leads and find the connections that, then where does it stop? Then do you take over from there, or do they actually
We would take over.
from there? But
Yeah.
so they basically have the connections in that industry, and they go and they find the people that we wouldn't know how to find, or
Right.
markets where we wouldn't know how
Right.
to reach them.
They'll not only look at domestic but international parties involved in all those different industries, and send out the RFP and then follow up with phone calls, and the idea is to develop prospects. And we do have a fantastic site, and it's water, sewer, a lot of money invested in it, and that's a positive thing. But the idea is to market using the prospectus and reaching out to those industries to try and develop prospects that we can work with, putting a package of incentives together and everything that we can to
Okay.
entice them.
I only passed economics class 101, and supply and demand is what's out there. If you got a supply, okay, do I have the demand? All right, so now the question in regards to all that is, let's go back to what you said about the milk. Well, I got a demand for yogurt. Well, what's my supply? Do I have the milk? And I don't think we know where the milk is yet.
Well, you got plants, as you just said, you got plants in Lowville, that right now is making Greek yogurt. You got the North Lawrence making Greek
Yeah.
yogurt. It's not the idea that we can't make the product up here, that, it's available. And you also got plants, in this area that are cutting back. So, there's a big vision here that I can't express.
I
I think
believe,
the value here is the prospectus itself and getting that in the right hands of the right people. The prospectus basically says that we've got a great site, we've got a great location, and on $100 million facility, when you bring all your discounts to bear, it's just over $9 million. So basically a 10% discount to set up here in the North Country. PCS has a good track record. They can reach some folks that we don't have access to, and I think that's the value, as I stated in the marketing committee portion of this. As with anything on the marketing side of things, there are no guarantees. But between the Greek yogurt prospectus, or between the prospectus and the marketing services that are listed here, I think this is the best chance for a $100 million facility siting here in Ogdensburg that we've had in a long time. And again, as I mentioned, it comes with no guarantees, but I think it's something that we should consider. Again, I'm recycling some of my marketing committee comments.
You are, and if my memory serves me correctly, some of the other things that were used to convince the marketing committee at that time was the fact that there might be offshoots from this particular project, that it might not be necessarily just Greek yogurt, that it might be something like the containers or a number of other things that might come out of this. The other thing that I would like to say, because I want to tell you that I thought the first thing when I looked, I remember in the marketing committee, the dollar figure was 30,000, and all of a sudden we put things together, and I looked at it, the same numbers that you guys were using. But one of the things that even made me feel better when I read the resolution was that somebody else believes besides the marketing committee and our administrators, and are willing to put up $4,000 to offset the cost. So I would like to look at this a little differently than say 40,000, because I think right away we're giving it a black eye. Really what we're looking at is perhaps investing $26,000. Because you said our 30,000 with their 4,000, that's 26. If you read how these expenses are incurred, most of his work is done on the net and that type of thing. So if he has to travel to those locations, then our expenses get larger. If you can make the connections without it, it wouldn't be. So I'm kind of looking at it a different way. It gives me, I guess it makes it easier for me to support it, because I'm looking at, well, we're paying 26 plus a little more, whatever that little more happens to be, instead of we're paying 40,000 to support this. There's a big difference in the dollars. But at any rate, I guess to go back, it's interesting, Fred, that you brought up what you did, because it was my feeling when we started. But I guess the reason I'm not going to guess. I know the exact reason that I'm going to support this is because I looked at our management team and I asked them the question, do you guys support this? Is this what you think we should do? And they said, yes, yes, yes. So I'm going to support them, because they've been in contact with people who have already demonstrated that they're going to support them, and that's the reason for my yes vote.
Sam, I'd just like to make a comment about milk supply. I think milk is a perishable product. Every day, all of it's going to get used one way or another, or it's going to be dumped. So it gets used, and there's plants around the country and in New York State that are plants that take the excess, because no one knows how much a cow is going to produce from one day to the next. There's oftentimes excess milk, and that's made into powder or butter or something. So over a period of time, when if a plant was going to be built, that would take a while to build a plant, and it would, during that time, they would seek contracts for the milk that they needed. And some would get it, some wouldn't, and I think an advantage for a plant, any plant in this part of the country where the milk supply is being produced, is lower transportation costs. So that could offset the premium that they might have to pay to get a chunk of that supply. They wouldn't have to pay as much as a plant in Massachusetts that would have to have a milk truck there. So I think supply is a tough one, because yeah, it's used every day, so there isn't any. But there's also opportunities if, for trying to get some of it. That was just, my experience in the milk industry. That's my thoughts there.
Well, there's a lot that goes into this proposal. $40,000, I have no problem with this. I said, I'm gonna make it very clear that I'm not against this proposal. I don't think it's the time for this proposal. There's two different things here you're looking at. I don't think we have any leads. I don't think this company's gonna bring any leads, and if they got leads out there, they should be talking about them to the economic development agencies and stuff like that. But when all of this comes together, that's the thing. We had the lead. I mean, we got power in northern New York. We got all of these things in northern New York. If a target, this is a broad target here. And I think it's just, as you said, when we spent the money down in Montreal, you've had 300 taps, but nobody's rang the phone. Maybe that'll come later. I don't know. I don't know how that's gonna work. But we ventured into that. And to be honest with you, I feel really this proposal is your job. You should be able to click it get us somebody that's interested in us, that's willing to come here and talk with us and do something, then this thing should go into motion. But this is your job, this is part of your job. Marketing this and marketing that and doing this with the IDAs and the IDAs in Watertown, the IDAs in Plattsburgh. It doesn't matter where they're gonna come, that's the thing that really hits the button. But that's my opinion, and I'm not against the resolution, as I said. I think it's too early, because I don't think we need this guy telling us, you know, he's gonna put us on the website. We should be already on them websites. Part of our own marketing strategy. So, I just disagree. That's all. That's all I have to say, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Any comment you wanna make?
No, just, so Fred talks about, we don't have the target. Isn't part of this that they're gonna find, I mean,
Yeah, that's the whole
hope
point.
that they find us the target?
Yes. We don't have any companies that are saying they want to.
But they're also working for everybody else. So the target could be Jefferson County is what I'm saying. When I'm saying target, I mean somebody come here as an interested party saying, we wanna come here, but there's some things we wanna look at. Taxes, how many years of this can we get, you know? I mean, you read about all of these things. We don't have anybody telling us that. Surely, my thought philosophy would be, as you come here, gonna get a tax break for a year, there, that all includes the city. That's where it includes, the county, and all of that. Well, we'd like cheap power. Well, that's gonna include the power authority. So, you know, we don't have that mechanism.
Sure.
But I don't,
You know?
I wanna say something, and don't take this wrong, John. Some things are in your expertise area to recruit and go after and what I wanna be. Something of this magnitude is way, excuse me when I say that, is above all of us. Okay, there's more to this than I understand, and tax breaks and pilots and all these type of things that are out there. I mean, so, somebody who recruits this and does this, I think you need a specialist to do something like that. Now, your job in the marketing aspect would be, this is the company, this is the corporation, this is the service, these people are the experts, okay? And these are the people that know how to take me down the road. I mean, that's my opinion. And I mean, I know what Fred's saying also is like, okay, you are in charge of the marketing. But
You
to
know,
what
the
degree
county-
did it all,
the county
you know,
spends- The county spends $30,000 a year on a consultant up in Canada to try and
Yeah.
attract Canadian companies. I mean, consultants are used all the time, whether it's for the
Yeah.
airport or the port terminal, or, you know, it's no different from marketing. And they're gonna create the list of potential developers, that I just don't have access to, and they're gonna solicit, and that's.
You don't think that the state agriculture don't have anything on this at all? Have you ever talked to them? Has there anybody said anything to the New York State that whether we wanna come here and build a plant? Here's our interested party, there's 6 companies that's looking in New York. Is there anything like that happening on our level of New York State officials?
We talk with Empire State Development, and we get leads. We used to get a lot of leads from Empire State Development, and we haven't in a long time. They aren't as aggressive as they used to be, and they aren't doing the marketing that they used to do. And we used to get and respond to proposals from companies, you know, they would target industries just like we're doing here, or proposing to do here, and those, I haven't had a lead from ESD in probably 6 months to a year, I would say.
Sam, if I might, as
Sure.
outsider looking in, everything that John does now for marketing, we've already got facilities in existence. Got a port, you got industrial park with buildings, you got places to put them. To me, this has got the unknown quantity. We've got the infrastructure, we don't have a building. So you're looking at a bigger company trying to invest a lot of money. And I think that's a little bit different than what John's access is right now. Like you connect with a Canadian company to use our port, we got port facilities. You connect with a Canadian company to rent a building, we got buildings. This one, we've got a piece of land, and we gotta, it's a different ballgame.
And that piece of land has been on the market in New York State and everywhere. I mean, when I was chairman, I sent it to everybody saying, here we got 60 acres ready. It's tillable, it's being corn right now, we've got this, we got that, we got 30 acres here. I mean, is there anybody that doesn't know we got property here? I would hope you say.
Person looking to build the plant.
But I think it's companies outside of this area. that had to come to New York
We
State.
haven't heard a thing on that, so.
But you
Whatever.
Let's go back with, you know, looking down the resolution, whatever, okay? And let's just see what this company does or doesn't do. So on March first, 2013, they got 4 months to do what? To find somebody or to find out that you're wet behind the ear, there's no possibility, any chance? Is that what that's saying?
Yeah, that's the solicitation timetable.
Okay.
That's the 4 months.
All right, well, let's go back to what just Fred said. And I know this is all, is ready to go in motion. But what if we waited 3, 4 months? What would that mean? Would that mean somebody else is gonna jump on us? Would that mean that the market may stabilize? Would that mean 4 months from now that, there's money available? And what does that all mean? I mean, why March first?
Because we paid to have the prospectus done, it's done and it's ready to go and it has a limited shelf life.
So you've already started this?
Yes, we hired, we
Yeah,
did
the
it.
So you-
document and the report is actually complete. That
So
was in
you've
their
already
board-
started this
our
before,
board packet last
before the
time.
resolution?
No.
No. This is,
No, you told us and you approved
Right,
to
to
hire
go look at
DCG
this.
Core Plan to develop a Greek yogurt prospectus, which is
He's done the
a
perspective.
document
Bruce has done that
is designed to attract a company.
And Bruce Perspective says, go for it.
Yes, I mean,
Okay.
it shows the benefit of,
And that's the timetable he said, let's go. That's what he's saying, correct?
he didn't come up with a timetable, no, the timetable is March first, because you would hire them, you don't want them to wait, and then we try to basically not have it open-ended, you know,
Okay.
and,
Why would that be February first?
it could be, we could change that to February first.
Okay. So if we really want, if this board was sitting here and said, let's get going here, what are we doing? There's other people out there looking, whatever, I'd say, why would I wait 2 months, 3 months, 4 months? Or, go back to what Fred's saying is, wait a second, there's nothing going on, there's nothing moving here, whatever, why would you look in that 4 months period of time? You could be looking at whatever, but you're saying, and Bruce is saying, get on board, let's go.
Yeah.
Okay,
So basically, this company, excuse
yeah,
me.
go ahead.
Basically, this company's gonna set a program up for us to do marketing. That's what they're gonna do.
They're going
Now,
to,
now, if we were to just say to this company, this guy here, this PCS, you got $40,000, you bring us six people, 6 different companies that wanna build a facility on what we've got to offer, and here's what we got to offer. And if you bring them here, and we get a winner out of it, you're gonna get $40,000. Can we reverse that? Or do we just give them $40,000 for them to do marketing for us for 4 months, ending up with nothing?
well, there's work involved, and the work is to create the list of potential
But would they do it
developers.
that way?
No, they won't.
they wouldn't
No.
do it on speculation.
In their original,
But you're willing to do it on speculation. You're willing to spend $40,000 of authority money on speculation.
Yes.
Okay.
And there's, as I said, there's no guarantees.
That's, Mr. Chairman, that's it, you got it, so.
There's 2 things I wanna point out before we make our final, move here. We are not just looking at possibilities in the yogurt area.
Right.
That we are looking for hops and beer manufacturing, right?
yes,
Yes.
And if
and the dairy
the,
industry in general.
what we're looking at, and Fred, you asked the same question that I did, or in maybe not the same words, but a very similar type of thing. But I wanna go back and say that, you know, once again, St. Lawrence County has jumped on, and the maximum authority money would be 36,000. I just quickly skimmed that again in terms of what out-of-pocket expenses would be at a maximum of 10,000. So, once again, I know it's, I'm kinda like cutting things up, but it's more palatable to me because it's really a lesser amount, that's all. And,
Both of the proposals that we originally received were $50,000 to $60,000,
Right.
so we have talked them down as a
Let,
price.
let me ask a couple questions here. If I know that I have, the purse, and I got the, and I know there's extra $10,000 in there, and I'm holding
That's
the
gonna
purse.
get spent.
Huh?
That's gonna get spent.
Say it again?
That's gonna get spent.
Well, that's what I'm saying, is, okay, so, well, if they know it's in there, they're gonna spend it,
Yeah, the proposal's for 40,000,
okay.
minus 4 from the counties, those 36,000.
Okay, so it could be less, but it won't be more,
Yeah, right,
okay.
that's correct.
Now it goes to, Fred, how do you feel with this being budgeted, makes sense, from your standpoint of how we have our capital expenses and all the things we're investing during the year, because this is gonna come out of someplace.
Well, the marketing budget, I'm sure, but I think it's a different approach than has been used here before. And we have a product. We have a product, and it's called a Greek yogurt prospectus. This is use of that product that we paid for. We're not going to get the full benefit of that without an aggressive approach to marketing it. And I think it would be a shame to not fully use that or that prospectus that we paid to have developed.
But you know, talking in that vein, it seems to me that we put out RFPs, or whatever you wanna put out, usually these people come here and tell us what they think they can do for us. I didn't see any of that. This is a shot in the dark, because John and Wade, and I'm using you too, and say, yeah, this is a good deal. But you put out RFPs to hire this company, right? So you must have sent out something looking for something. Well, you know, maybe I feel more comfortable if then people would have come here and said, well, Mr. Lamachi's firm has been considered for this, and let him tell me what he thinks he can do for us.
And some of those discussions
And that
were held at the
didn't happen
marketing,
here.
Yeah.
That
at the
didn't
marketing committee.
Yeah.
Well,
But you know what I just heard though?
but
And I wanna tell you what you just said rang a bell so loud in my head that I tell you what, it's like amazing. You said, we've never done this way before. So wait a minute, if somebody says, get outside of the box and think differently, whatever, what do we just do? So now I ask myself, this next part of the question is, all of a sudden we're in a learning curve. So now all of a sudden we have a process, okay, we went to a prospectus, we went to here, so now all of a sudden we're saying, hey, we can think differently, we can do things differently, and maybe, okay, we'll learn that this is a strategy, maybe we'll not be successful, Fred, may not be successful here, but it may be a strategy that we need to relook and see how St. Lawrence County thinkers and people around us, okay, I'm not blaming anybody, but say, you know what, let's go for this. Let's use some different thinking, whatever, that may, we gotta outthink people. We have to outthink people. And, there's a lot of brain power here that we can be put to use to do those type of things, and
It's
so
it's proactive, that's for sure.
Well, then
Yeah.
jump off of what Frank said, it is a little bit of a different kind of project developer kind of a situation than we've had before. And if you were to, just say you were to do it, like Fred said, that's part of your job, to market. If you were to do it yourself with just what you have now, what would that do to the rest of your time? I mean, would that eat up all your
It would
time,
eat
so,
up- Yeah, it would eat up all my time,
so it would take away from your other,
yes.
well, the question is, exactly, your number one question is the timing right? I guess that's, the advice is, the timing is, no, are they on board to go February 1st?
That's what we've worked out, I haven't talked to them about February 1st, but,
no later than March 1st, Sam.
We wanted to accelerate this because on the back end, if we're successful with this, what that size facility means is about 50 jobs. And that's why we're pushing it along.
Now, let me ask you this, I mean, I'm not involved in that other committee or anything else. I think they've done an excellent job of getting this here. But was there any discussion with the city of Ogdensburg about helping out with some of this? This is an ideal thing for the city, to be part of what we're trying to do here. Was there any discussion with them or the Grow Fund or the development agency up there?
They're aware of what we're doing, we keep them
Well,
up to date in our
Yeah.
monthly progress meetings with them.
But did you ask them if they wanna share in the cost of it?
I did not
They
handle the
have
cost sharing
they have no
agreement.
money budgeted, to to do this.
Well, Mr. Chairman, we can, talk about it. I just feel the resolution is fine.
I know you want
Well-
something to happen, Fred, I know you.
But, I just don't think the time is right. That's my opinion.
Need somebody to make a motion?
I'll make the motion.
Have a motion? And a second?
I'll second it.
One second. Further discussion, comments? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 I vote no.
No? Aye. Now, by question here in a quorum, all we have to have is a majority vote,
Majority of the quorum.
a majority of the quorum. Okay, so we're
You
covered.
have validly
Whatever
called
one of the-
meeting, you
okay.
got a majority, you got a quorum,
Okay.
so it's a majority
Okay.
vote.
Thank you. Thank you, Frank, for the update there. Next item up would be, over on page 29 would be business item B1. This is approval of a supplemental lease agreement with Penske in the fourth industrial building. You can see on the following page where they are, and at the rates, terms, and conditions you see before you.
Got the same size, everything the same,
Yes, same footprint.
just to renew.
I make a motion to approve.
I'll second it.
Further questions, comments? No? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
There are all the ayes, thank you. Okay,
The next item is, we're on page 31, agenda item B2, approval of a supplemental lease agreement with St. Lawrence Health Alliance. This is for 1,082 square feet of space in the fourth industrial building at the rates, terms, and condition that you see before you. And this is a 3-year lease supplement. And on page 32, you can see the actual footprint.
fourth industrial building. I wanna look back.
Who does all their maintenance? We do?
No maintenance.
Well, in the fourth building, there's not much, there's not much of anything that goes on there that requires maintenance.
I make a motion to pass it.
I'll second it.
Then all the resolutions?
No, I'm finishing a question, comments, I'm gonna make a comment here. In that building, there's 850 square feet. What happens to that 850 square feet, that shows it's available?
Oh, you're looking at the building occupancy.
Yeah, page 8,
Page 8. Zone 4, Sam?
yes.
That is the former niche brokerage space, which is,
2 offices and a bathroom.
yeah,
Yeah,
we've had different prospects take a look at that, and we've tried to consolidate it with other space, and we're marketing it.
For reference on page 32, where is it? That's the building.
It would be to the right of that.
Be to the right of,
I'm not
highlighted
sure
there
how
on C.
current this is.
Okay.
How much available space in
Yeah,
there?
it's not
labeled.
right here.
It's not labeled.
Yeah, it's just right
The one
here.
that's
right
not
So it's
labeled.
immediately to the right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
is that one little
Right at C.
piece right in there, next to it?
Yep.
Yeah, and
It's,
it does have an access to the
This is what
warehouse.
was just rented out. This is the 850 square feet, this
Okay.
blank area right here.
Okay.
Need a newer, just match.
Any way to, have them take over the 850 feet or anything, per se?
They don't need any additional space.
Hmm?
They don't need any additional space.
No?
No.
Okay, I just wanna know what 850 feet is doing.
Yep.
Okay, thank you for that. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye?
You know, made the motion.
Yeah, but he still has to hear that aye.
All right.
All right. I remember meeting here where I didn't hear an aye, and somebody questioned they heard the aye or not the aye, and,
I figure the guy makes a motion, I'll do it.
well, you never know, you might be swinging at this,
Might have been convinced.
Yeah, you might.
I'm convinced of some things, and I won't change.
Yeah, you're all right.
That's good.
Okay, Wade,
Mr. Chairman, there is a need to set the next meeting date. unless you wanna get together next Wednesday.
No, I don't think so.
We gotta do it, around the 12th or 13th.
13th, sound good to everybody?
13th works into my schedule.
Okay.
13th,
for me.
that'd be Wednesday, 4 o'clock board, 3 o'clock, facilities if needed.
Okay. Now, what I see here, I'm sorry, wait, you had 3 o'clock? Or,
4 o'clock board, 3 PM facilities if
Okay.
needed.
okay, I think we got
That
a couple
works.
things we need to, we'll work on agenda for that. Now, that means we're gonna move March a little bit also. Or are we trying to fall back on schedule? I mean, I was trying to, you know, kinda like, I guess, I think of my own leadership situation or whatever, trying to have everybody be flexible and do the meetings and do say whatever, but I think it would be fair that everybody knows exactly what the dates are. I mean, here it is the beginning of the year, and we could say, all right, well, these are, none of these dates right now sitting in front of me are locked in stone yet, until we set them per se, correct?
We've always had the
You set the
flexibility of changing them to
Yeah,
help the board
well, I mean,
members.
I've heard some, you know, displeasure in some people of a lot of reasons, for a lot of people, and I'm not gonna get into that.
Well, we changed from Tuesday to Wednesday because it affected you,
Yep.
and that had no problem with it, so
No,
Wednesday's
no,
fine.
I'm not questioning any of that, but I'm just saying is, you know, what dates do we wanna change now, so we know exactly what we want, so
You know, Sam,
13th,
is this a suggestion? Maybe you should just go month to month, because things, with this
Yeah.
board, change month to month.
So much.
You're not required like municipalities to set at the beginning of the year,
All
you
right.
shall meet every Tuesday at whatever time you wanna meet. You can't vary from that except for
Okay.
special meetings and,
Well-
special days.
I'd like to know, you know, just talking amongst ourselves here, in the press, we used to meet in the morning. You know, we used to meet at 9 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and the board met and we were done hopefully by noon. And I wouldn't mind going back to that schedule, instead of having these night meetings, you know, but, you know, that's something, that, you know, that,
well, I mean, I know, it's not a problem for me and some people, but I look at Mona, who's business hours, whatever, it's a sacrifice for her, and Don works, and,
but there, again, it's a plus for her because she knows that it's going to be, like you said, March 6th at 8 a.m. in the morning, or 9 a.m. in the morning.
Mhm.
She knows that she's gonna come in there and get that done, and she's out of
you
here.
know, yeah.
Yeah, cause with my, it doesn't matter, I had to do closings late, so I just know if
All
on
right, so you
these
just need
days-
the date.
I just need the date, I
Okay.
make
And
it
a lot of
work around-
attorneys work more, as she said, into the middle of the night.
Every night till 11, I'm at the office most
Okay.
every
And that's
night
why you
till
got
10 or
all the
11, yeah.
computers that ties you into the county
Now,
and
Freddie,
everything
don't
else.
let her kid you, she's not there on Friday.
I am, I don't answer the phone.
But I'm not asking to change anything right now, maybe it's, I just wanna mention that to you,
Yeah.
you
No,
talk to your
no,
You know,
board.
I
Yeah.
think that's a good point.
I have no trouble
we-
with morning meetings.
Because we have one member missing and one member that's chair's still
Yeah.
not filled.
Don always made the
Somebody-
meetings before and everything.
Well,
and-
2 members missing, so,
As long as they know in advance.
yeah.
Don-
Well, let's try to find a level of convenience for you, Steve, and Doug. Do anybody know when Doug's back and when you're coming back
I would be back,
in March?
yeah.
I can make a meeting in March, but it'd have to be the last week in March. I don't know when Doug will be back. I'll be back somewhere in the week of the 25th.
When's the audit?
But I assumed that I was gonna mess up.
The end of June, hopefully in June this year.
June this year, okay.
That's what I'm gonna shoot for.
Okay.
It's usually it's usually the July meeting. I'm gonna try to have.
Well, right now, if Doug and Steve ain't back, Don will be here. We just have to let him know what it is, what date it is, and he'll be, because he's gonna be the quorum. I'll be here to make the quorum, or Ramona, or yourself. We will make sure there's 4 of us
Oh, I
here.
know that, but I'm
And
just
plus,
trying
we
to.
should have another one hopefully coming here. I mean, another new board member. Hopefully, I don't know that. But the governor might start filling some of these spots. I don't know.
All right, so let's do this, and we'll go over the 13th, and we'll leave it open until, we'll talk about on the 13th, exactly what the date, and after that,
Maybe we can know and make sure Don's available, right?
okay?
But I'd like to have you consider the other, starting our meetings in the morning.
Okay, we can talk about that too?
That'll work.
And another thing that works nice for people like Ramona is, and I had done it myself, where I had scheduled a meeting for 1 o'clock or 12 o'clock in Watertown. I come in and did the basic things sometimes, and, you know, the rest of it I just stay for. But it was a lot better for us, I think, to do it that way. One of the things that we opened it up for the evening meetings was, we wanted more participation from the public.
That's true.
Thank you. There's the public right there. They count on him to let everybody know in the cameras. I mean, it's just the way it is. People are probably on the internet right now watching me.
Probably.
I get calls probably late at midnight tonight.
I live down the street, this is the most
What?
convenient thing for me to, any time of day is fine.
Oh, okay, so I mean, okay, so let's, we put all those things together, we talked about it and come up with okay?
That might work for
Yeah.
for this year.
The thing that, I guess, one other thing we need to be aware of is the fact that when we don't have some sort of consistency in our schedule, it's gotta be awfully difficult for staff to prepare for our meetings. Now, you know, 1 month you're having it at the beginning, next month you're having it at the end, you're moving it over here. I can't imagine that the reports and whatever they have to do is all that easy on our staff when we do that. But at any rate, I would be willing to try the morning type of meetings. It doesn't make a whole lot of difference to me morning, night, but the other thing, I'd like to know a month or two ahead of time, you know, when the meetings are, because I plan my schedule around the meetings. And then when the meeting gets switched, I'm just gonna tell you how I feel about the whole thing. Then the meeting gets switched, and I miss the meeting, I feel that I'm not doing my job now.
Yeah.
And so, okay, we switch some of them for some reasons, we don't switch others for some reasons, and then all of a sudden, you know, that's how people kinda get their dander up, like, what happened to my importance type of thing. So, I like to see a date, and that's when it is, because then staff can prepare for their meetings, I can prepare my schedule, other people can prepare for theirs. And if there was some drastic reason we had to change, we could change.
Well, that's good. Well, let's do this. Let's do
Steve
this.
wants a little time, and I think that you should have that.
Let's go for the 13th. The 13th, we'll go for facilities you know, it's interesting, I mean, let's go for 8 o'clock in the morning for facility, and 9 o'clock for regular meeting. How's that work for staff, Wade?
We're prepared, we'll do
Okay,
pleasure of the board.
and let's see if Don can make it. Mona, is that the problem?
That's perfect for
We're
me.
going for 8 o'clock, and we'll just see exactly how that works out. Fresh your minds.
It's a good way to start it, try it.
Yeah, yeah, and we'll go for the day for you, so you got that?
Yep.
Okay.
Yogurt muffins, Fred.
It'd be a lot easier to make.
Yogurt.
Yeah,
Yogurt.
very good.
Okay.
Very good. February 13th, 8 o'clock, facilities, 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be great.
Mr. Chairman, there is a need for an executive session, but before that,
Yeah, wait, come back and do it. You wanna do that? Yeah. that's
Well, I
right.
just, yeah, whatever.
there is a need for executive session, but there is also a need for a border station meeting, including electing of officers, and an Ogdensburg Bridge Authority meeting, including election
Okay.
of officers, and appointments for both.
Okay. All right, let's, I'm gonna call the Augsburg Bridge Authority
You
Board
gotta
meeting.
close this one.
Oh, yeah, we better close this one.
Close
We gotta
this
close
one
this one?
No, why can you adjourn it?
Suspend.
We're gonna
Suspend
suspend it,
Just
let's
adjourn
suspend
it
this
until
okay,
after the other
there's
two,
business,
and then bring
yes.
it back in session for the executive session. I'll move to adjourn the regular meeting.
I second
until
that.
After the Bridge Authority and the border station meetings are concluded.
Can I have a second? All in favor?
Second.
Aye.
Aye?
Aye. I got you, there you go. Okay. All right, let's, it's now, 6 P.M., we're gonna convene the Augsburg Bridge Authority Board meeting. I call the meeting to order. Moni, wanna give us a report on election of officers?
Yes, I believe the status quo will continue.
I would make that motion, Mr. Chairman, that the officers,
Maintenance,
that's in place now, stay in place, yes.
okay.
I second that.
Second, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Wade, any business that we need to attend to in this meeting?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, there is. We would need to do an appointment of Gowling LaFleur Henderson, LLP, as the counsel of the Ogdensburg Bridge Authority.
And also,
Halloween,
the HSBC would be,
Nope, we don't need any
any
of
of
that.
that stuff, okay. So we just need a motion for that?
Yes, please.
Anybody wanna make a motion?
I make a motion.
I second.
Second? Question, comments? All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
He's waving.
What? I said aye.
Aye.
Oh, gee, yeah, Patty had it down.
Oh,
Okay.
okay, anything else, Wade? Next meeting date?
Next meeting would be July 3rd, 2013.
Okay, motion to adjourn that meeting?
I would make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion, second Steve, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye?
There you go, I've got you. Okay, now it is 6:05 PM. I'd like to call the Ogdensburg Border Station Annual Board Meeting to order. Wade, do you have any letters of communication to the board?
There are none, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Mona, you wanna give us a report on election of officers?
Yes, again, we would maintain the status quo for officers. We did the-
You mixed them up at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think you started with this one and ended with the
Oh,
border
I'm
station.
just-
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is already done, ain't it, Patty?
the border
No, we
station.
just did-
We did the
No, we did the
bridge.
bridge. We did the bridge.
But you said, I thought you said border station when you started, that's why.
Probably.
It's all right,
I did say border station.
at the beginning.
Oh, this
Of
one.
this one?
Yeah.
No, I said
No, you said
Bridget
Bridget
already.
You-
Yeah, yeah. Get the tape. No. Okay, meeting call to
I
order,
move-
letters of communication, Wade, go ahead, please.
One thing regarding communications, if you would, please go down to the banks section and strike HSBC Bank. And that will make it simpler when we get to the appointments.
Okay. All right, election of officers, Mona?
Again, I would report that we maintain the status quo.
Okay,
I move the slate.
move to second,
I'll second it.
second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Heard all the ayes, thank you. Wade, you have an appointments here to make?
Mr. Chairman, we need a motion to appoint counsel, newspaper, and the banks as detailed on the agenda.
I move.
Move.
I'll
Second.
second.
Move a second. Further questions? Comments? No? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any concluding comment from citizens or border station officers?
Papers, appreciate your continued business.
Okay. Next meeting days to be announced. Need a motion to adjourn?
I so move.
Okay.
Second it?
Second. Favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
The only question I have, Wade, is on this here, we don't mean, we didn't make any action on this?
That's fine, you can pick that up next
Okay,
time.
all right. Okay, now we're gonna go back to,
I move we go back into regular session for meeting of the Ogdensburg Bridge and Port Authority.
okay,
Mr. Chairman, there is,
call that meeting to order. Thank you.
there we go. Mr. Chairman, there is a need for executive session regarding matters relating to the acquisition or disposition of real property, litigation, and personnel.
Okay. There will be action out of this. On one, personnel.
I'm hopeful.
I don't know, I didn't say what kind of action, you didn't say what kind of action you want. You wanna move around and dance, or, okay, so, can he be excused, or let him know exactly?
I move we go into executive session.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I expect it probably will be items that I'll need to follow up with you on. If I could get your cell number, I'll give you a call.
Actually, call me at the Ogdensburg Journal.
Oh, perfect.
1,000? Okay.
Good.
I just have one quick question. What's the
We're still
site,
on.
proposed site?
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's fine, let him,
No,
let him ask.
Whatever was talking
actually
behind
have, two sites. There's the Ogdensburg Industrial Park, which has available land, and then there's the land, in the town of Lisbon that's available, 60 acres right there. So there's actually a couple of sites that are available depending on the size of the land.
Hear from you later.